Okay, welcome to our call, everyone. It's October the 25th. I'm calling you from Tampa, Florida. I'm going to give you some information tonight, a little different. We're going to, it's funny, I've spent the last couple of days traveling. I was in Toronto doing what we might call the official first opportunity meeting that we were able to do in the Toronto market now that we have our licensing in Canada for the retail business and opportunities. So, of course, we're not 100% there yet with the packaging needing to be done and some other things, and of course the policies and so on about to hit the airwaves. I heard from Ted Wilson. He said that he's expecting that to be out from corporate shortly, so that's awesome. But what was interesting, because I was in Toronto and then I was in Ottawa, and both of those times that I was presenting and chatting were the two times that I was able to really say business, make money. And that's what we're allowed to do now in the Canadian market. Of course, in the United States market, you've been able to do that for a long time now. And, of course, in the Philippines are able to do that as well. But there's other countries coming online. But tonight I wanted to spend some time to share with you what I learned in Toronto. There's two ways to approach the business, and it's either lead with the business or lead with the products. And so some people feel very strongly that the business is what you should lead with, and there's others that really want to lead with the products. Well, it's kind of nice to find the happy medium. And so tonight I wanted to spend some time about the products again, because my cousin Barb does such a great job talking about the herbs that are in these different products, being that that's her background. It's important that we all realize that you got to find that middle ground. You can't constantly be talking money, or you can't be constantly talking product. It's interesting to find the middle ground. So what I noticed, though, in Toronto was there was a room full of people there, and they were very much interested in the progression of the business and the 3-year trek. And what I describe now is that kind of Valentus is at the stage where the training wheels are coming off of the bike. It's that first time that we can actually sort of say, well, we're getting big now, and we're getting big to the point where we can really start thinking worldly, internationally, as the company has put so much money into the legal aspects of expansion internationally and where they want to go with it. In Canada alone, just for us Canadians, the training wheels are off. So now we can actually talk business, we can talk profit and retailing. So what happened, though, was during the evening, and again last night in Ottawa, my cousin Barb started talking about why the products work and benefits, and I just noticed a shift. There were so many people that really got excited about the product detail that she just ran with it. And I thought, you know what, let's go with that tonight. Let's let you hear what she shared in 2 group sessions in the last couple of days. And for those who've never heard her before, you pick up some ideas. And I learned a lot last night, and I've been listening to calls for a long time, and again, I learned some things. I think it'll be worth your while to hear her approach on the herbal side of the products, because I think that's for me last night, the education that I got from that is that there's a lot of people that want to know. They want to know what the Italian coffee can do different than the Brazilian, what the energy has in it, what makes it different, what the immune has in it, what the trim has in it, the breakthrough, the max, and so on. So that's what we covered last night. But before we do that, let me just talk a little bit about, us all trying to do what I believe is the magic to the entire program now, which is helping the products help you. You just got to become somebody that really understands that, there is no miracle anything. You do have to have some form of common sense when it comes to the product usages and what you're going to do with it. So, I think it's important to recognize that we have a series of incredible products that you can help with your own personal efforts. And sometimes it means getting off the couch and going for that walk after you get that energy as a result of our products, and then it will continue the growth of our products. And today I was having dinner with Debbie here in Florida, and her husband Ron. We were talking a little bit about how she's finding the coffee working so well for her now because she's using the Max. And before, she found she had a plateau, but the Max has re-accelerated what she was wanting out of the product. One of the thoughts I had then about the people in the room and the questions about who you can approach was that, your database of people that you're going to have and take some interest in really starts with one person, but that one person has an entire circle of people. And so what you're doing when you sponsor or you bring on a customer is you're entering into their circle. So if you think you don't know a lot of people, but you know one person who says yes, you suddenly know a lot of people through that one person that said yes. That's the power of this industry. And so I've learned more and more as I watch people now spend time working on themselves in this business in the first year, and then they finally sponsor one person, and then suddenly their group goes from 1 to 20 because that one person they brought in actually brought in a database of others. You know, you've heard her share stories of water and the benefits of water, and how the products will help you with your water. But you probably don't know how important the time of day you take the water is and what it does for you. And I'm hoping that she'll share that here on this call, because it's not going to be of any advantage for me to share it to you unless you hear it from her. And she's actually what you would call a natural herbalist, and been doing that for 25 years in Canada. So she's really well versed on what works and what doesn't work. Well, welcome to the call. I know you last second said you'd come on here, but and you had some people there. Listen, I was just starting to share with everybody how you spend time in Toronto and in Ottawa working with the herbs inside the product and explaining what the benefit of those herbs were, and that everybody was really intrigued by that. And I heard so many comments after that they appreciated that really good information. So can we just get right to it, because I've kind of skipped 8 minutes of the call and we got to get through to it in about 20 minutes here. What is it about, first off, water? Let's talk about water, because you hit me with the straw equation in the past, and it never made sense to me. But somehow when somebody mentioned the hospital, notice when you're in a hospital, they make you drink the drink out of a straw. It kind of occurred to me what you're trying to talk about with the valve. So let's start off with water and the importance of water and the straw. Can you go ahead and just touch on that for a second?
Sure, happy to, Don.
Yeah.
The rationale behind using a straw is I'll just relate to you one particular product that we have, and that would be the PM pack for the breakthrough. And because those are bitter herbs, sometimes people have difficulty in getting them down. This is what I would like to suggest, because when you're doing the cleanse like that, you want to avoid any type of sugar or sweetness. And so I would like to ask everybody to become purists. Get yourself a glass of water, put 6 ounces of water in it, pour the pack in, squeeze a half a lemon or a quarter of a lemon, and get a straw. The reason why you use a straw is so that you bypass the taste buds in your mouth. You'll get it down faster, and you also want to try and drink that down. Make a challenge for yourself. Drink it within 10 seconds, okay? Water is just so critical to everything that we do, and I know a lot of people say I drink a lot of water. You really want to drink it at the right time and in the right way.
So Barb, before I cut you off on that point there, the point about drinking it without the immune, because many of us have been drinking it with the immune. So can you just touch on the fact that the reason why you're suggesting this is to actually take it before the immune, or split the time if you're mixing it, because the sugar in the immune actually can be attacked by the fungal properties of the PM, and you'll actually make the product not work as well. And that's just your personal opinion, but it made a lot of sense to me when you said that, and that's why you like to separate that, get the PM into your body at least a half an hour or so before you would take your immune, or take your immune well in advance of taking your PM. Is that what you were trying to explain last night?
Yes, exactly. Because there is a degree of sugar. I know it's good, and there are a lot of herbs that are in there that are from the fruit side of things. So when you're trying to get rid of candida, give your body the best chance, save yourself some money in the long run, and do it on the pure side, because once you mix it with anything that's sweet, your microbiome, gut, flora, the bad ones, will immediately go after any sugar that you put in. So that's why I kind of say it. I know it's harsh, and I know it's good to get it down no matter what. It just is, it really slows the process down. And on a real true Candida program, it's like 0 sugar. So
what are the ingredients in the breakthrough product, since we've started with that actually cause it to work as well as it does, and why you love that product so much?
Okay. I have studied herbs for 25 years. This is why when they came out with this product and I looked at the ingredients and I thought, okay, someone's thinking here, because in life you want to remove, restore, and replenish, the 3 R's, okay? So what you want to do is you want to remove some of that candida. You want to improve your gut flora or your microbiome flora. So the herbs that are in there, number one is dandelion root. Dandelion is a famous herb, and I learned under Dr. Eugene Watkins that if you're ever stumped on what to give someone, give them dandelion root. The other herb that's in there is antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. It's called Paudarco, also known as Lapacho. And Lapacho, Paudarco, and I'm going to put a disclaimer in there. I think you all know what I'm talking about. I can't make claims, blah, blah, blah. It is well known as cancer preventative, and a lot of people use it during their protocol, herbal protocol. The next herb that's in there is cat's claw. And if you'll turn your hand upside down, I want you to mangle your fingers. That's what cat's claw looks like. Does it look like arthritic condition? When the good Lord put the herbs on the earth, he quite often matched things to symptoms. So that's why a lot of people are having success with better joint movement, improved wrist action, leg action. It's because of the cat's claw. Now, all of these herbs that I just talked about are purgatives, so they're going to purge the liver. They are the ones that are doing the removal. The milk thistle is put in there, and this is one of the key reasons why I thought, yes, this is perfect, because milk thistle is the herb that provides the support to the liver. It's the liver protector, okay? The AM, because at nighttime we're going to be removing and repairing and so on and so forth. We want to get some replenishment and restorative properties back into the gut. And you know what? Microbiome is a big word these days, so please feel free to start using it. In the old days, we used to just call it the gut. The AM pack, and this is one you want to put in your water, keep it by your bedside. Take your water up to bed. At nighttime, you're going to add your lemon to it. You're going to take a straw with you. When you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed, you're going to pour the AM pack or the breakthrough in there, stir it up, and drink it before you get out of bed. The most important ingredient in the AM pack is Bacillus coagulans. Why is it really important? Because Acidophilus bifidus is a living organism. They die. Okay, and that's why companies are trying to say mine is better than yours. Mine contains 28 gazillion, blah blah blah. Bacillus coagulans are spores, so they do not generate until they hit your biological terrain / microbiome, and that's when they start to flourish and reproduce. That's why Bacillus coagulans is such an amazing one when you're doing the breakthrough.
So Barb, now that we've got our head around the AM in the morning sitting beside the bed, and that's what you're suggesting in a perfect, purest way of doing a cleanse, correct? Let's talk briefly about the valves in the body, because it leads to the whole concept that I started with before you got on the call was we have to get really good at helping the products help you, right? So by doing what you're suggesting, it's going to help the products help you and get the full benefits of it. But what I learned last night was when you're in a hospital bed, they make you drink the product with a straw, and the light bulb went on because you've been saying for a while that before your feet hit the ground and you're laying in bed, the valves of your body are open, and you want to cleanse them, and that's what the water is doing first thing in the morning, is cleansing those valves from the whole night, and when you hit your feet to the ground, those valves close. And so what was a light bulb for me is that's what they do in the hospital, so they seem to be knowing what they're talking about, and that's what you're telling people to do as a purist, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. And the reason why you do it before you get out of bed, and all you have to do is have that straw, you just lean over. You can sit up a little bit, to get it down. Try to drink your water room temperature and get it down as fast as you possibly can so that it fills up your bladder very quickly. And all of the valves in your body, because you have many, many valves. You have like a pyloric valve, you have a cardiac valve, you have an ileocecal valve. The ileocecal valve is a very important valve because it goes from the small intestine to the large intestine. Can we think bowel movement here, maybe? That's where below the ileocecal valve, people will get parasites in there, and what happens, they get appendicitis and they remove the appendix. So let's not have that done. When you stand up, all the valves start to shut, like Dawn said. So wouldn't you rather have, like, okay, let's say you've got a hose and you've got some stuff on your driveway, and you get one of these hoses and there's a little trickle coming out. Well, it might remove like 1/10 of an inch, but if you get a power washer and you start spraying, you're going to get rid of a lot of the sloughing off of what has happened overnight, and you're creating that firestorm that goes through and reaches all of the cells, glands, and organs in the body. So
that's why you recommend drinking more water all at once than sipping.
Yes, and please download my water article because it is really important to remember, don't drink with your meals. Finish your water half an hour before. You'll get used to it, not drinking water with your meals within about 4 days. You want to drink large volumes at the same time rather than sipping all day, because you'll be piddling all day. Same idea. It will take some toxins out, but it might take like 1 milligram out. Whereas if you fill your bladder, you're going to have a much better flush, and you're going to take more garbage out.
Okay, so we started with the breakthrough, because one of the things that we have with the breakthrough is it's a breakthrough, getting your body ready for the other products. Yep. So let's jump right into some of the other products and the key herbs. So can you touch on the SlimRoast, the herbs you like in both the Brazilian and the Italian? So start off with maybe the Italian.
Okay. There is a specific herb in there that is called Cissus quadrangulus, and that is an Ayurvedic herb. Okay, and that really helps with the meno and mano belly. Meno is great because women go through pre, post, and subsequent post-menopause. And the men, they have that gut. You know, the ones that have the belly? You want to nip that in the bud, because what the Cissus quadrangulus also works on is eating up the visceral fat, even for those skinny fat people. The other ingredient that I like in the Italian is the chromium, because of it balancing the blood sugar levels. Would you like me to go on to the Brazilian now?
Yes, please. Talk about what the difference is there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm going really, really quick because I want to get all of this in, because I just, my why is to help educate people. Stories sell and knowledge sells, and I'm the boring person of the group here. So, but I want to share my knowledge.
Sure.
The Brazilian works on your neurotransmitters, okay? And you have gazillion neurotransmitters in the microbiome in your gut. It's the only place that you have neurotransmitters. You have other neurotransmitters. They are the only ones that talk back to the brain. You know when you say you've got a gut feeling? Well, those are neurotransmitters, and they're affecting what you're thinking. Okay? So the L-theanine that is in the Brazilian is a stress reducer. So I do kind of recommend that people do the Italian, like Don says. He'll have an Italian in the morning and a Brazilian in the afternoon. Nancy, I don't know what's wrong with him. Anyhow, but I would like to see people doing both coffees. I heard something very interesting. Don mentioned that he and Nancy were combining the two of them together. Why not? That's okay. Go ahead. So my own personal testimonial, 10 years ago, I had a stroke. I was completely paralyzed on my left side. The one thing that I could never, ever get over was a shaking inside my head. It was like a bobblehead inside my head. I didn't have a shaking of the actual head, but it was ready to explode. And I started on these products, and I said to my husband, guess what, Arnie, I can't believe it, after like 9 years, this shaking in my head has stopped. I was at a meeting, and everybody knows Lee and Chris Pickett, and Chris said to me, oh, Barb, thank you for sharing your story, and I guess I'm telling the story, but I know he'd give me permission. He said that he would get shaky hands when he was starting to teach the kids hockey, or I can't remember what sport it was, And he said he started on the Valentus products, and all of a sudden this shaking stopped. So I said to him, because at that time I didn't know which one of the products was stopping the shaking in my head. And he said he only took the coffee. So guess what? There we go. That's just my own personal story. Do you want me to talk about energy?
Yeah, I just thought we'd just touch on the main ingredients you like best in all the products and why they work. Because the energy, I love it. Okay. But there's one ingredient in there that actually really helps and makes such a difference between that and the ones that you see in the cans over on the shelf. So what is that ingredient? Okay,
that particular ingredient, there's two of them that makes a difference from what's in the cans. And one of them is rhodiola, and it's a nervine herb, which is for your nervous system, and it helps to buffer the adrenal glands, which sit right on top of the kidney, okay? The other herb that's in there that is great is Siberian ginseng, because it acts as an adaptogenic. The Gato Cola, and once again, disclaimer, bracket, unbracket, okay? Gato Cola is known in Africa as the brain food. It helps with focus, so great for sports athletes, so on and so forth. And they are going to be, staying tuned. Their nervous system is being looked after, and the Siberian ginseng is protecting them. That's why I like these. I want to tell you something about Gato Cola. Gato Cola also helps to balance left and right hemisphere in the brain. My son is dyslexic, and I've had him on Gato Cola since he was 8 years old. And it is the one thing that he says to me, Mom, have we got any Gato Cola? It absolutely, definitely helps with that. And also the energy, and I can't make a claim on this. I just want you to think, if I was in a situation where I had a hyperactive child, I might want to try a half a pack of the energy with them, because sometimes those stimulating herbs will help an ADD child to calm down, and especially with the rhodiola and the Siberian ginseng. That's why I like that. The immune will carry on to that. I love the aloe vera in it because it's got aloe vera is mucilaginous. Just think about that. Think, like it's soft, it's healing, it's soothing. You can put that on a topical burn, and it takes away that burning. So it's really a good one for repairing. A little hint here, if you have children, this product is very safe to use for children. My friend and colleague, some of you know her, Sina Matheson, her and her grandson make something called immunesicles. This is cold and flu season. You've really got to talk to people with kids that are in school right now, and giving it to them as a popsicle, who wouldn't resist it? I like it. So I'm going to be making popsicles when I get home. The trim has inulin, which is a very good fiber, okay? It also has raspberry ketones. The trim is instant, no-brainer for getting rid of junk food cravings after supper. I can vouch for that. It worked for my husband and I on the very first day that we tried it. If you get gas and bloating from it, it's because you've got an overgrowth of candida in your gut. Okay. So that could lead you to thinking about perhaps doing a breakthrough. Okay.
So here we are now. We've got these great products, and then what you describe in terms of a vehicle and putting all these products in there, just like your shopping cart or your clothes to go on vacation. Take that and run with that for a second.
Okay. So we're going to go on a camping trip, and we've got the car packed. We've got our immune, we've got our energy, we've got our coffee, we've got everything, and we've got our water, of course, because what is important about our products? Just add water. So we've got that. We've checked the water. We've checked the gas. It's okay. Everything is in fine order. But the car doesn't start. How are we going to get all this good stuff going and moving in a forward direction, a.k.a. our life? How are we going to start living? How are we going to get to optimum health? You know what? You know what we're missing in that car? The spark plug. I had a lady tonight who actually, I said to her, what were we missing? She said the spark plug. And I was like, wow, this lady has never known Valentus products. And yes, because it's electrified. I personally studied under Dr. Bernard Jensen, the same doctor that Dr. Mueller studied under. And Dr. Bernard Jensen was the master of minerals. And vitamins are synthetically made, minerals are not. These are negatively charged, so when they hit the cells, they bounce off each other, and that's what creates a better blood flow. That's where it gets all of our other products working optimally. This is such a cool product. Now, you know we've got the canine. I was at the Emerald Summit, and I stayed up kind of late one night, and I woke up first thing in the morning because I always spray, first thing in the morning after I'd done my water thing. And so I picked it up, I sprayed, and I thought, oh my gosh, Valentus screwed up. They forgot to put the xylitol in here. And then I got out of bed and I looked over and I'm thinking, wait till I tell Don Carson that the company screwed up. Then I looked at my bedside table. I had sprayed the K9. And let me tell you, they have the same ingredients. It's just not with the xylitol because of the electrical charge. It doesn't have a metallic taste like most minerals do. And I had been doing some kinesiology with people, and if they have a sensitivity to xylitol, they are testing very, very strong on the K9. Now, one thing that happened was I was walking around, I had my shower, and I started barking. I got downstairs. Next thing I know, people are patting me on the head. Does K9 work? Absolutely. Is it good for humans?
But what's interesting, Barb, there, again, it's your opinion, but the point you're making there is that the xylitol that's not in the canine product can actually benefit some people because some people have a tolerance to xylitol. Do your own research on that, folks, but it just gives you some summary on the products. And we're super excited that the Spark Plug, the Max, is helping all the products work. We're all blown away by it with the Max effect. But I just want to finish off with one last thought on food grouping. I don't want to go into this much longer because we're going to jump into a Zoom call, and we went a little bit over here. But, I learned something last night, Barb, and all my life, my mom used to send me out with a sandwich and an apple or a sandwich and an orange, and I would have my sandwich and I'd have my orange. Everybody does that. Eat your fruit after your sandwich. But what you shared last night is that you should be eating your fruit by itself a half hour before you eat anything else, and otherwise it ferments with the food, and that's what causes a problem in your digestion and sometimes where people don't lose weight. So can you just touch on that fruit combination, and then we'll end the call?
Okay, I sure will. Food combining is simply combining protein fats with low glycemic vegetables and a good quality salad. Okay, and when I talk protein fat, I'm talking about most meats are marbleized with some fat. You can use butter. You can use any, of your different fat stuff to eat together. Then the second part of food combining, when you just can't take it anymore and you need a carbohydrate meal. So go ahead, do your spaghetti, okay? You're going to make like a tomato sauce only without the meat, okay? You can use vegetable oils in place of any butter that you might want to put on the spaghetti or what have you. That you combine with low glycemic vegetables again and a good salad. The next part of that is that you eat fruit on its own. When you're doing the Candida breakthrough, let me suggest if you really want to be perfect, no fruit, okay? If you need to have that fruit, you really crave it, have one fruit a day only. Try to do that because that really helps with weight loss. Like Donald said, if you eat a meal and you don't wait 2 hours after your meal to have a piece of fruit, you're going to get a wine factory in your gut, which a byproduct is methane gas. So, to all.
Well, Barb, thanks so much. You shared with some great points here. Again, drinking water, leaving the valves open, flushing it out, drinking more all at once rather than sipping. not drinking your water with your meal so your actual digestive enzymes can digest the food properly rather than fight with the water, drinking lukewarm water or house temperature water rather than ice water so your body doesn't have to warm up the water first, it actually digests the food, and of course preparing your fruit before your meal a half hour so you can get the fruit digested and then move on to your meal and not drink your water. Those are just great little points to go with the herb topic tonight. So, Barb, thanks for joining us. Get back to your guests there in Ottawa. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. And if you're going to join us on the Zoom call right now, Brett's already started. The code on the Zoom call is 604-249-4601. Thanks for calling, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Don. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.